Captain Caulfield come up. Yeah. He was, I guess, hardest IP, but he kept us to high standards. So the typical hammer award for him. I'd like to give this to you, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Hang on, you're missing something.
This is for the blind leading the blind. Help you find the runway.
Jamie, where you at? Let me out. Unsat. Unsat.
That was awesome.
We'll play it.
All right, next we got some our flight awards coming up. First off, we're going to start off with the Santa Claus. You kind of heard the description earlier. It's kind of easy to pick a Santa Claus for our flight when he walks into the room and says, "I don't believe in hooking students, ever." So would Captain Cody please...
Unless they deserve it.
I don't recall ever saying that.
Like Captain Shields explained, sometimes IPs have to give us a harder time than we might expect to be given. If you've talked to your students and they've had a really bad day, they may have recently flown with the hammer. I went to such great length to avoid the hammer as to try to manipulate the schedule at times. And if you had a student in our flight, then you know we were on formal release until today. The other days were just a joke. I was still on formal release until then. But you can't always be the hammer class after class. So just because you don't spend a lot of time with us doesn't mean you scare me so much that I'm going to try to break your neck during a flight. Captain Thompson, if you could please stand up, we would like to present you with this very little hammer for the short period of time that you've been with us.
And next we have the Sharpshooter Award. There's always somebody who can easily pinpoint what you did wrong in the flight and come back and tell you pretty quickly on the ground how to fix it. There's also another reason for the Sharpshooter Award, but the Lieutenant Plowman can come on up front. See, this used to be Lieutenant Plowman's, but it ended up in the Christmas White Elephant gift, and now it's mine, because I wanted it. So I suppose, sir.
And then finally, as you've already seen, it's tradition to present a plaque. So, Lieutenant Fabian from the Hawks. Thanks.
We've got one last special gift we want to give to our sponsor. She's the one that made sure that we had plenty of food and drink for both of our solo parties, and she was also responsible for all the food and drink that you guys saw as the refreshments before the track select. So Miss Candy Nelson, Vance AFB, can you come up here?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please give your attention to Colonel Abadi, Commander, 71st Operations.
One of the fullest rooms we've had here since I've been here. So let's give the class one more round of applause. Families, we get to talk to them and sit down to them. So I got to talk to them the other day and sit down and talk to them a little bit. So they've heard my words, so I won't spend a lot of time. But remember what I said, you're halfway there. You get a chance stepping across the hall or leaving for those going to the helicopters for a new first impression. So don't mess it up. All right, wish you the best luck as you step across the halls and proceed on to 33. For families, if you can raise your hands so I can see how many family members. Thank you for coming out tonight. Obviously, their success here is partly due to you, and a lot of it's really due to you. The work ethic, the morals, the values that you gave them are what we got as a rough product that the next group of people I introduced will basically took and formed. It's kind of like making a gem. You know, come in as a rough stone and we kind of get it cut to the right shape, and then phase 3 is where we polish it up into the diamond that you see walking out the door as our aviators. So if I can say thank you for you coming out tonight, truly appreciate it. Next group, my IPs, can you stand up? And there's more in the back of the room. This isn't all. So this is the crowd, or at least part of the crowd, since we're still flying ops, that basically are, as we say, took pedestrians and turned them into pilots. They're the ones that put their lives at risk to do this. And we all make mistakes. We made them even when we went through, but they're the ones that are taking that rough stone out or for your sons and daughters and basically starting to mold them into what we want as a military aviator. So to my IPs, I say thank you very much for all you've done. Obviously our two MCs up here for putting on a great show tonight. Again, thank you for coming out to the class. Congratulations. Don't forget the words of wisdom I got. I won't be here for your graduation. But, I wish you the best on that side. With that, Lieutenant Colonel Manozzi, our Vice Commander, turn the floor over to him.
Thanks. On behalf of Colonel James, who couldn't be here tonight, let me start out by saying this is definitely the largest class and the largest gathering I've seen in this auditorium while I've been here. It was a pleasure to get to know you guys, to fly with some of you, to get the popcorn call to attention with others of you. But I would encourage you guys to heed Colonel Body's words and walk across the street tomorrow and make that best first impression and dedicate yourself, rededicate yourself to why you guys came here, which is to walk out of here or walk out of the helicopter school down there in Alabama with a pair of wings on your chest. And I would really encourage you in your case, because I don't see a Dancing with the Stars in your future there, given what I saw in the video. Focus on being good on your day jobs, guys. But you guys have been a class that shows with the character how well you've gotten along, how well you've been there for each other. It's been one of the things that I've seen in walking the halls here and getting to fly with all the flights. It has been impressive to watch you guys grow up from day one and mature into who you are today. So don't forget the words of wisdom tomorrow. Go across the street and do great things for our Air Force and for our allied Air Forces. To the families, I will very much echo what Colonel Abadi said. This is the first step in many that your sons and daughters are going to have throughout their Air Force careers. And it's the first of many I hope you guys will get to share with them and be there with them, because as he said, you guys are important and critical to continue to support them as they grow up and step out into the real Air Force and start doing a lot of challenging missions for us and our country. And the last group, and I won't make them stand up again here, but I want to say thanks on behalf of all of us here to all the IPs that are in the room. And again, there's still flying ops going on. The boss and I know just how hard you guys work every day to get these guys to the point that they're at. You do an outstanding job of going to work every day and balancing all that we throw at you with the idea of still being safe, still taking the appropriate risk decisions, and still turning out an extremely class act product to our Phase 3 folks. For those of you who don't have the pleasure of seeing these track select results across all the UPT bases, Vance, I think 28 of you guys are stepping across the door to Phase 3 tomorrow. The other two bases, I think, got somewhere between 7 to 12 or 15 of their students through their respective Phase 2 and off the door into Phase 3. It is a direct testament, I think, to what you guys put out every day in these two squadrons here to train these guys. And I guess thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for the hard work. And thank you for doing it with an eye for safety and an eye for turning out a quality product for our Phase 3 brothers. So with that, let's bring these guys on up here to the front here and come on and stand across here. We'll give them one more round of applause and then get up and shake their hands.
Thank you. Congratulations to class 14-15. Thank you to the family and friends for coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, this does conclude the Track Select event. Please help the students clear up any remaining beverages they may have in the bar. Have a good night.